So today I want to talk about my journey to become a technical diver. After a lot of research, I decided that my first technical course was going to be the combined TDI Advanced Nitrox diver and the Decompression procedures diver. And I did it last October. This video will be my review and experience of taking these two courses, what went well and not so well, and what I've been doing to improve what I think went wrong. So without further ado, let's dive into it. For any course nowadays, there is the e-learning portion and the in-water portion. This combined course is the foundation of the technical diver. There are many things that need to be learned, understood, and memorized. The Advanced Nitrox diver has loads of concepts that are already presented in the Nitrox class, but they take you a step further. I had some issues with this course as there are many named concepts that I need to memorize, and I'm terrible with names. On the other hand, numbers and calculations went well. The Decompression procedures dive course was interesting. Loads of historical information which was not pleasant to read, but the fun started when learning the dive planning software and putting the calculations to practice. Both courses are the foundation, and so many times I had to read a couple of times to make sure I learned properly and was able to memorize them correctly. Out of the two courses, Advanced Nitrox is the shortest and was the one I most enjoyed. For the exams, I found the Decompression procedure exams were the most challenging, as I had to remember historical facts and names, which is always hard for me. But in the end, I passed without too much struggle. Prior to the beginning of the course, the instructor sent me the list of all required equipment I would need to have, and of course, anything that I did not have, he would be able to provide. As I dive in the UK, dry suit is a requirement, and so make sure you are comfortable doing skills in a dry suit and your undersuit provides enough warmth. I've been diving the dry suit since my first dive, so this was not new for me. However, if you are not a dry suit diver, take the dry suit course prior and get comfortable diving with a dry suit prior to take the course. As this is the first technical course, there are new equipment to be used and learned. I already have the standard diving equipment that includes fins, mask, whistle, DASMB, reel or spool, computer, dry suit, boots, hood, and gloves that are suited for the UK environment. I already own the required equipment that's not classified as a standard, and this includes compass, cutting device, torch, wet notes, or slate. The main area here to understand is that in technical diver, you should always have a backup for everything that's important. So I had to borrow some kit from the instructor. A backup diving computer is preferable, but in case you don't have one or are not able to borrow from your instructor, a depth gauge and a bottom timer is enough. Also, don't forget your save a dive kit with fin straps, O-rings, tools, etc., as we never know when things just decide to break. For the cylinders, we are now using two, so twin set or side mount. As I'm a side mount diver already, I went with my side mount kit and my own tanks. But a new cylinder is required for the stage, and preferable aluminum. The instructor may provide you with one, which was in my case, so I did not need to rent it nor get a new regulator or two clean. As for the size, minimum 7 liters, but it will all depend on your breathing. And for the regulator, a first stage regulator for the water temperature you are diving in, a SPG with 6-inch hose, a second stage regulator. And on my case, we have an extra low pressure inflator hose for situations where it may be required. As a combined train, there are 3 skills parts with 6 dives in total. We did all in 3 days, so 2 dives per day. Prior to any diving skills, we did practice some of the skills out of the water. While not all skills can be mastered out of the water, it is always good to understand what is required. The practice happened at the briefing, which was easy to remember as it was just before getting wet. The first day was introduction of the team mindset, including the S-drill. At the end of the day, we spent a few hours at the pub going through any wrong questions we got during the learning, getting feedback, and of course, planning the next day. We spent quite some time outside the water practicing all required skills whenever possible. For the Advanced Nitrox course, the main skill was to do the gas analysis, cylinder markings, computer settings and usage of gas switch, and of course dive planning, as this now involve a lot of planning and calculations of CNS and OTUs. But we also practice the gas sharing, valve drills, hand signals and gas switches. For the decompression procedure dive, the main skill was in the planning of the dive, which goes hand in hand with the Advanced Nitrox. So I can say there was nothing new here. I'll leave a link to the TDI Standards and Procedures document for each course in the description below, so you can see what each course required. This is where the fun begins, or maybe the nightmares. This course is really intensive, and at the end of every day I was really exhausted. The first day, each dive was around 45 minutes, with the first dive including the basic skill checks like buoyancy, mask clear, etc. And the first time we had to have a team mindset and doing the team drills like the S drill and bubble check. I can say for someone that most of the time dives solo, the team mindset was not there yet. When we were not doing the exercises, we were physically there, close to each other, but our minds were in a land far away. The second dive was in the introduction of stage cylinders. This is where my kit, that was set up for only 2 cylinders, gave me loads of issues. My head became super negative and I had to fight not to be head down, which was not fun, and I got loads of cramps. Day 2 started early and we did a total of 100 minutes underwater. My setup was still not helping and I had to find hard to stay in a good position, which led me to exhaustion. I had to call off the first dive just around 40 minutes. The second dive of the day was not better. And not only I was too heavy, with my setup in my summer undersuit, I'm normally 3 kilos negative in fresh water, which I can manage, but with the addition of the stage cylinder and a dry suit float, made the matter worse. Nevertheless, I managed to do all exercise like mask remove and replace, gas switch, valve drills, etc. And we completed it the second day. Day 3 early start again. While we were still trying to fix the issues, the first dive was the deepest and darker dive, so we could simulate deep stops on way back. It wasn't pretty, but we managed to complete the dive safely. On the last dive, we removed the dry suit inflation suit and added 1 kilo on the bottom of the spine pocket of my X-dip. I was still heavy doing my light undersuit, but I was now a lot less head heavy and I was able to keep my trim and buoyancy without having to fight to be in trim. It's winter and I'm using my winter undersuit, which makes the buoyancy and trim not to be an issue. With this setup, I'm about 1 kilo negative in fresh water, but with the addition of the stage cylinder, I'm now moving equipment around to make sure the trim is perfect with and without the stage cylinder. At summertime, I'll have to perform the same checks with the light undersuit to make sure the issues I encountered can be fixed in a safe environment before going abroad. The main changes are moving the dry suit inflator cylinder connect to the butt D-ring and also not diving with my heated battery or suit inflation bottle, as I won't be taking them when diving abroad. If you're a side mount technical diver, any tips you can give me and my followers on how would you set up the gear with steel cylinder? Leave your comments in the comment section below. During the 3 days we practice all skills multiple times, like deploy DSMBs, clear and replace masks, free flow, gas sharing, how to handle deco bottles, how to analyze and check that you are changing to the correct gas, as changing to the wrong gas is the most common reason for deep diving accidents. It's an interesting course with the biggest change in the dive planning, and not only how to use the software to plan your dive, but how to perform the calculations necessary for maximum depth, amount of gas needed, configure the computer for extra gas, among other things. This is a massive change when you compare to recreational diving plan that normally is return weighing 100 bar. This is the first step in the technical diving, so the course helped me to understand the change in mindset I need to have, the safety aspects of being a technical diving, and being part of a team. I hope to put in practice everything I learned as often as I can and hope to get many deco dives in the years to come. If you have any comments on how a beginner technical diver should start to put in practice what was taught in the course, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to know more about my configuration for recreational diving, check out this video.